These are my way too early core NFL DraftKings Week 1 plays at every position. What's up, guys? My name's Kevin Allen, aka the Fantasy Football Geek from DFS Army, and I'm just going to go a quick rundown of some core plays that I love for NFL Week 1. These are my way too early core plays. We are still in August as I'm recording this. There's plenty of preseason yet to happen, plenty of injuries and stuff and news and blurbs and everything are going to come out. But it's good to get an early look at the first slate. It's fun. Let's get our DFS muscles, our brain muscles flexed here and start to remember everything it is that we love about playing daily. The agony, the thrill of victory, and the agony of defeat that is daily fantasy football on DraftKings and FanDuel. So let's jump right into it, and we're going to start with the quarterback position, and I'm going to get a quick rundown of the games here just to give an idea of what we're looking for. Now, at quarterback, I always want ideally a home-favored QB. They're favored on the road, that's fine too, but favored or in a very, very close game. I want quarterbacks with high game and team totals, ideally high team totals with a close spread, right? We want a game that's going to be competitive. And finally, we want quarterbacks that aren't going to be massively threatened by an elite running back on their team or that have rushing upside. So there's a few players that fit the category, and let's just take a quick look at these game tiles. There are really three games that pop a little bit in NFL Week 1 in terms of the game totals. First one is Miami at Jacksonville. Miami is a 3.5-point home favorite in this one with a 49.5-point spread. I love that high scoring game. We'll see if Jacksonville can hold up their part, but Miami has been spectacular, especially early in the season. Florida showdown going on over there. I really like this game. I like the environment. Tua, though, does have a lot of competition for putting the ball in the end zone from his running backs, Achane and Mostert. We've seen those guys just score prolifically last year, and it really held Tua back from having an elite fantasy year. Just the rushing game is so good on Miami. So that concern remains in play. Jacksonville side, I'm not really ready to I'm not ready to play Trevor Lawrence in any sort of way that I think is safe. Bengals have a very high team total taking on the Patriots. They're 9-point favorites, though, and that's always challenging. You know, the Bengals could easily just lean on the run in a game like this. I think the Patriots will be more competitive. I'd actually be betting the Patriots here +9. I think they're less bad than people think. But nonetheless, 42-point total is not what I'm looking for at the quarterback position. Houston at the Colts. Now, this game's really interesting. 48.5-point total. We all love Houston and their offense. They can score at will. And if the Colts have to answer and they're at home in the Dome, I'm really excited about what Anthony Richardson can bring to the table for NFL Week 1. So the final game that pops in Week 1 is the Buffalo at home taking on the Cardinals. That game has a 48.5-point total with the Bills installed as 7-point home favorites. Love Josh Allen. I actually think he's going to smash in this game. New weapons to work with. Dalton Kincaid, year 2 in the offense. Keon Coleman, we'll see what he's all about. It's still too early in the preseason. I haven't seen enough to know. And I love Curtis Samuel. He's probably the guy that I think sticks out the most to me as someone who's going to be fairly low salaried most of the season, but we production there out of Samuel. But let's jump right back over to our DraftKings screen so we can take a rundown of the quarterback position. And I'm going to go with Anthony Rumble Richardson as my core quarterback for NFL Week 1. He brings a great combination of upside and floor. At 6K, he just needs about 20 fantasy points to get us where we need to be in most contests. Yet 24 would be great. And he certainly got higher potential within him. He had a pretty good repertoire with Michael Pittman last year. And yes, Jonathan Taylor is there. And Jonathan Taylor is probably going to be more likely to get a touchdown here. But Anthony Richardson did really well with Zach Moss in combo games last year. It wasn't an issue. So I think this game could produce some fireworks, and I want the running quarterback who's priced over $1,200 below where CJ Stroud is priced for the same game. All right, let's move on to the running back position. And again, criteria for a core play. I want a high floor, decent ceiling situation. I want a player that effectively should not fail. They're not going to burn me. They're not going to give me a terrible score. I'm not going to miscalculate and think they're the starter, but somebody else shows up or anything like that. There are some great tournament plays in Week 1 across the board. You know, James Cook on the Bills, that's a great spot for Cook at 6,900. Cook is not always going to get a ton of volume, but to end the season last year, he was getting really good volume, and there's no real competition for touches on the Bills right now. So I like James Cook. He's definitely in the mix for me Week 1. Achane and Mostert. I already mentioned how Tua is a little bit vultured by these guys. I like them both, but each, again, there's two running backs, both over 6K. That's a little sketch. Of course, we've got Kamara, who is a PPR machine. Same role as always. Should be fine at that price point. Joe Mixon on a new team. Lots and lots of good running back to choose from. There's also a section of running backs in the cheaper zone that I'm really interested in, starting with Devin Singletary at 5,700. What's wrong with that? He should be the starter for the Giants. Giants are actually, I think they're favored, or that game is going to be really, really close. So I'm sure they'll give Singletary the football quite a bit. Zach Moss is really interesting. The whole world loves Chase Brown. No one likes Zach Moss, but the Bengals, 9-point home favorites. That seems like a Zach smash situation where nobody's going to play the guy because they're all thinking it's going to be Chase Brown. So I think that's really interesting for tournaments. But for the core play at running back NFL Week 1, I'm going with Rachaad White. And listen, the Bucs are home favorite, taking on a team that's starting a rookie quarterback. White has shown that he's going to be given a ton of volume when the games are close or not. You know, he was a 70, 80%. I think he was at times a 90% touch rate guy in 2023. So he was seeing all of the running back work. The floor is high. The ceiling may be not as high as some of these other guys, certainly not at the level of what an HN or even Jones or Connor, most of the players in the zone here. But the floor is really, really high for Rachaad White. So this would be more of a cash guy slash, high dollar, small size quints, 10, multiplier type player, which is great. I call those 3 max plays where you're handcrafting lineups. They have some correlation, but not necessarily getting crazy enough to win a milli maker, but more a smart, sharp lineup that can win some triple ups and maybe even finish in the top 10%, get me a 10x on my money. So Rachaad White, core running back, way too early core running back, NFL Week 1. Guys, if you're enjoying this content, let me remind you to smash that like button, subscribe to the channel. We have DFS content, DraftKings content across all the sports going on right here on the DFS Army YouTube channel nonstop. And if you want to get signed up at DFS Army, access our tools, ownership projections, player projections, basic training for how to crush tournaments, cash games, everything on DraftKings in 2024. Go sign up at dfsarmy.com. Promo code Geek gets you 10% off either VIP, which covers all sports, NFL only for NFL, whatever you want to do. All right, continuing on, let's jump over to the wide receiver position and take a look at some of these names. Now, I've really got to go for 2 different wide receivers. Of course, we have our elite stud, kind of, I want one of these in my lineup, and then sort of a value player. So in the stud zone here, we have CeeDee Lamb, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Devontae Adams, Mike Evans, even Marvin Harrison and Nico. All right, let's include all of 7K up to 8,900 as the stud zone. For week 1, I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill as my favorite of the group. Listen, there's nothing wrong with CeeDee Lamb. There's nothing wrong with Justin Jefferson, Chase. All of these guys are great. They're all great plays. But, Tyreek Hill, competitive game, opening weekend in Miami. Everybody else has a flaw. Jefferson, it's against the Giants. Who's the quarterback for Minnesota right now? Not even sure. Jamar Chase, heavily favored team at home. It's fine. He could absolutely, all of these are really good tournament plays. Devontae Adams, yeah, sure, why not? Mike Evans pops off every once in a while. So all of these are really good tournament plays, but I'm going to say Tyreek Hill is and of course CeeDee Lamb, by the way. We can't forget CeeDee Lamb. He's absolutely going to crush it this year, but I'm going to go with Tyreek Hill. I like that situation. I like the close game. I like targeting wide receivers in close games where potentially Miami could fall behind and have to throw quite a bit. So that's my expensive core wide receiver, but I'm going to do a less expensive one as well, or a value wide receiver. And we'll keep this at 50. We'll keep this to 5,500 and below on salary on DraftKings. And for my low cost wide receiver, again, I'm looking for the same set of features. I want a player that's going to have a difficult time failing. I want a guy who's definitely going to be targeted. He'll see some looks. Maybe he's not a new guy on his team, but he's been around for a little bit. I mentioned Curtis Samuel before. He's in that mix. He's in that conversation for a really safe play. I like the rookie Ladd McConkey on the Chargers, but again, he's never played before, so that's not a safe situation. As crazy as this sounds, I'm going with Josh Palmer. Josh Palmer, value wide receiver, NFL Week 1. When Josh Palmer has been healthy in games with Justin Herbert, and again, this assumes Justin Herbert's fine and healthy in play, so of course everything can change. As of right now, Herbert has some sort of plantar fasciitis issue, but Palmer, 10 targets, 8 targets in these games where he was sort of the only guy around, 8 targets, 7 targets for 5K, scores in the 15 to 20 range. He needs to put up about 20 fantasy points from this price point to deliver value. I think he can get it done. There's just a group of names in this zone though that are all kind of similar similar for me. Like I said, I could have gone with Curtis Samuel as well. I think there are a couple here a little bit higher up, like George Pickens, who I love at 5,700 week 1 as well. So there, and Malik Neighbors at 5,900. So there are a plethora of great wide receiver choices NFL week 1, but I'm going with Palmer as the core pay down option NFL week 1. I'll give you a punt that I like as well, a super early punt, sub 4K price point, and that would be rookie wide receiver Jalen Polk on the Patriots, 3,900. It's going to be Jacoby Brissett starting, and I would kind of want to see if Bourne, I think it's Bourne is going to be back for New England, so I think we'll be able to get some value at wide receiver from the Patriots in week 1. And right now I'm looking at Polk, but let's see how the preseason takes us. I'm not ready to really call that one a core. All right, finally, let's jump over to the tight end position. And again, lots of great tight ends to choose from. Nothing wrong with paying up for McBride, Kincaid, even Evan Ingram here again in that Miami game. Ferguson's fine, but I'm going to go with Kyle Pitts at 4,600. Give him one more try to get it done. Kyle Pitts with Kirk Cousins now at the helm for the Falcons. I'm excited for what he can do. Certainly, we haven't really seen Kyle Pitts truly get it done with this team. The coach is talking about he's their WR2 right now. So listen, I'm buying in the hype a little bit. I like the price point of 4,600, but I certainly, if I have the salary left over, I would like to get up to Kincaid here at 5,800 or even McBride at 6,100, but I'm going with Kyle Pitts, $4,600 tight end for NFL week 1. All right. Finally, at the defense position, I'm going with, let's talk about criteria here. What am I looking for on a defense? First of all, salary is really critical. I don't like paying up for a defense. It's hard to field a competitive team when you pay up for a defense. So that's something always to keep in mind. So I'm always looking to save salary. Now, I prefer teams at home. I certainly want a favored team. And my preference is a defense going up against a quarterback that's mistake prone, or a heavily favored team where their opponent is likely to be forced to be throwing more than they're comfortable with, forcing the issue, and ideally throwing a lot of interceptions. So starting at the bottom here, we have a bunch of road underdogs. I'm not interested in any of that. We don't want any road underdogs. Texans are really interesting if I wasn't playing Richardson, because Richardson, as good as he is, he could also turn the football over. I don't even mind playing the Texans with Richardson in there. Jaguars, we don't want to touch that. I'm not ready to take on Chicago either. I think their rookie quarterback will be fine, but Titans do pop a little bit in terms of going up against a rookie making his first start. Raiders could be interesting if the Chargers, if Herbert isn't healthy by week 1 and somebody else is playing. Whoever that guy is, he probably sucks. So that'd be fine. But the first, and Chargers, by the way, here against Las Vegas, AOC or whoever's going to be the quarterback for the Raiders is just not that good, right? But the team I'm going with are the Giants. And the Giants are going to be taking on a Vikings team that might be starting Sam Darnold or a rookie. Either way, they're not going to be very good, probably early on. Maybe they are, but I know Sam Darnold's not that good. I don't know about JJ McCarthy. We'll see. But I like defenses going up against rookie quarterbacks, young quarterbacks, mistake-prone quarterbacks. So I'm just going to go with the Giants here in this one and call it a core play. So again, quarterback, Anthony Richardson, running back, Rachaad White with a nod to Bijan. Lots of great running backs, though, for NFL week 1. At wide receiver, Tyreek Hill's our stud. Josh Palmer's our salary saver, so to speak. And at tight end, Kyle Pitts, Giants for the defense. Core, way too early core plays for NFL week 1. Again, remember to like and subscribe to the channel. Get subscribed to DFS Army. It is time. We are in basic training mode, back testing regularly, relearning how to use the optimizer, how to attack tournaments that are main slates and showdowns, all that stuff, getting prepped for the NFL season. So get in there now. Promo code Geek gets you 10% off. I'll see you guys next time.